And here we are, coming down for the adventure as well. The old mate Roy the boy. Smashing in those wrasse today, Roy. Smashing in those wrasse. Learning curve for me and Roy today. It's, oh, he's in. He's in. That's how you do it on the lure. He's in. I'm gonna let Ryan help him out now. Smashed it straight away, he did. A little bit of guidance from Ryan, and it's we sat down and watched Ryan for a little bit just to see what was going on, and he's done it. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Roy. Well done, mate. Well, big smile on his face, look. Brilliant. Big smile on his face.
Thank you, Roy. That's all right. If you lay your rod down there. Come around this, let's have a little chat, Roy. So here we have it. Roy's got his, he's just told me he's broken his PB, so that's great news. How did it feel, mate?
Great.
And this is why we use a mat. This is what I'm saying about the duty of care with your wrasse. I try and use a mat because, as you can see underneath here, it's lovely sharp rocks on here, and these fish are so fragile to how you handle them and stuff like that. He was caught on a nice black minnow. We're just going to take him out. When I tend to take my hooks out, what I try and do is, future pass me here, Roy. When I take my hook out, I tend to cradle him like a baby in my armpit. So that way you've got full control of that fish. And then when you're putting this hook out, nice and easy. See what I mean? He's kicking, but I've got full control of him. So that's the hook release. And as you can see, the black minnows, they don't last very long. We've got a big tear and a gash in the body already. But however, they're great fun. That'll still fight another day, you'll be surprised. As I was saying, on the back of his dorsal fins, his big sharp spikes, and this is where I was talking about. How when you dive into the rocks and how they go back in. So you happy if we put him back in now, Roy?
Yep.
Yeah, let's put him back in. Okay, so all I'm trying to do at the minute, apart from getting a whack backside, is just give this fish a chance just to get his faculties back, just to get his senses back. What you'll find is with wrasse, when you put them back, they go a bit side belly, take a little bit of a time, and then what they would do is actually revive himself and go back in. There you go, straight down into the rocks. He's going to chill out there, and off he goes. Awesome.
Well, that's my PB wrasse.
Well, let's hope we get you some bigger ones to come, eh?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a 3-pounder.
3-pounder? Let's try 4.
Yeah, all right.
Let's aim big. Come on, let's aim big.
Right, let's go.
Okay, cool. So when I'm lure fishing for my wrasse, the technique that I like to use is simply, it's a pulse, and then taking the slack, but always stay in contact with the lure. The reason you stay in the contact with that lure is you want to feel absolutely everything. I spool my reel with nanofill. I prefer nanofill or braid, just in fact you're more in contact with what's at the other end of this, for me, the lure. Being in contact with it, I'll be able to tell you whether I'm on a sandy bottom, on a rocky bottom, whether I've gone through seaweed. If I wheel it through quite fast now, you'll probably find that I'll actually pick up a bit of seaweed on the way, and that way I'll be able to tell you, what's happening. With wrasse, what it tends to feel like is when you're playing with the wrasse, it's on the paws that they come and pick them up. Because they're territorial, they're basically saying get out of my house. When that lure's near its house, it's basically saying get out of my house. So they will impact it a couple of times to say, look, come on mate, let's get out of it. And then all of a sudden they'll get too angry and wham, they'll take that lure. It's a very cool sensation. As you're bringing them over the rocks, because there's so many different rocky holes, as you pull it out of its house, as it were, it's trying to get into its neighbour's house. So as it's going over these rocks, you'll get a sudden ride down to the bottom, and it's this what makes wrassing so much fun, is because when you're bringing them out, as soon as you think you've got them, they dive down back into the rocks. And quite often I hear people say, oh, I hooked up to a fish but I couldn't bring it up, it was stuck to the bottom. It's where it's gone in head first, it's put up its dorsal fins, which are full of spikes, and then what it does, it almost basically clamps itself into that rock, and no matter how much you try and pull them out, you won't pull them out. They're so strong at what they do. But again, this is why I love the sport, because you have to try and constantly play it. You can't give it any rest. You have to keep its head up. You have to keep bringing it in, otherwise you will lose that fish.
How's that feel?
Great fun. He's a beast. He's a beast.
Take your time with it.
Yeah, he's a big fish. He's a big fish.
Oh my god!
He's gone and done it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, best fish so far, and he was absolute scorker. Look at that. Prime wrasse. Prime wrasse. I've had him before bait fishing, crab, rag, normal, but to be honest, on light gear, that absolutely, what a fight, and I can see why these guys absolutely love this part of the sport. It's not something I've done a lot of, but that is my PB wrasse on lure, and I'm over the moon, to be honest. What a fight. We've weighed him in the sling. The sling's 110, made the fish £4, so PB on the lure. Absolutely. One thing I like about this, I'm a lot like this with smoothhound fishing. I always take a sling. When you're weighing them and when you handle them over these rough conditions and terrain, it's always about the safety of the fish. And this is one thing Ryan's really passionate about, and it's a joy to see, really. You don't see a lot of anglers doing it, and especially when you're fishing this type of fishing, it's a sport we love, and protecting the fish is what it's all about. So I'm going to pick him up now and return him to fight another day. But as you see, as I've been holding this, even with the photos, Ryan's got the sling under it all the time, just in case he flips out, it's right in the sling instead of on the rock. But I'm going to return him now to fight another day. There he goes. There he goes. One thing I like about this, and you've seen it before when you're bait fishing, you're taking photos, sometimes when you stress the fish out, sometimes they turn up in the water and they look like they're dead, but half the time they're not dead, they just lie there, and they come with kicks and they're gone. There's one thing about wrasse fishing with bait side, but on the lure, but one thing I've noticed, especially with what you've done here today, with the time you've took and the care you've put into them, they've gone back straight away.
Yeah, and this is
they're not stressed out.
And if they are stressed out, like I said, just try and keep the fish upright, because a lot of people just leave it on the side of the water. If you can get him up on with his belly under, they circulate the oxygen a lot better and they come round a lot better. Just take your time with them and look after him.
Well, he's got me a fish and he's got Roy the boy a fish. Now
I need to get one.
Let's go get him. Okay guys, into another one. Just playing him now. Lovely rod tip bent over, and yeah, absolutely loving this. It takes you back to your roots. It really does. It's like fishing when you were a kid. And to be honest, I missed out a lot on this with just doing the beach caster and stuff. But my little lad would love this. I'll have to bring him down and then I'll have a go. But a lovely way to introduce fishing to the juniors. And me and Roy the boy are taking full advantage of Ryan's expertise today, and we've been hitting them. Roy's had two, I've had two, and to be honest, it's about time Ryan got one in the water, but it's going to land him here now. There we go. So what we're going to do is exactly the same again. Cast into the same point every time, bang, bang, bang. And as you literally pull him back a couple of times, bang, 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 as you were retrieving in. And kept missing him. A little bit more speed that time, and managed to pull him out. So we'll get him returned to fight another day. One of the things I just wanted to show you is where they've been hooking every time, straight in the side of the jaw. Unhooking now. He's only a small one, literally tiny, so we're going to get him back now to fight another day. Straight down. Third fish out. Beating Roy the boy. I never knew it was a competition this morning, but he decided as soon as he had his, let's have it. So we're both on it. Poor old Ryan, he was showing us what to do here, and he's struggling afterwards. It seemed to, he did say it when we got down here. He said that an hour up on the push and they would start the show, and it's just gone 11 o'clock now, and it's literally we've near enough had fish every 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. It's been constant, it's been fun, and this is why I absolutely love it. In fact, this is why to introduce it to children, because it's constant, because it's, you know, you're constantly doing something, it becomes a lot more interesting. You know as well as I do.
Yeah.
You've got young lads and stuff like that. You bring children down fishing and they're sat there watching bait fishing rods and stuff like that.
Not interested.
Yeah, they switch off, whereas this, you're constantly doing something with them, they constantly playing with the lures, and when they do get a fish, like you said yourself, you feel like a school kid
You
again.
do.
It's amazing.
It's like being 12 again. Absolutely crazy. Because it's on such light gear, even a little fish like that, it's a joy and a pleasure to catch. And that 4-pounder I had on this setup earlier on, it was just something else, to be fair. Locked into a little bit, as Ryan was saying, because they try to go into the rock, any rock. So as soon as you pull him out of one rock, he's trying to dive for the next, and it's like that all the way. And it's constant pressure keeping the rod up. But absolutely joy on this rod, absolutely fantastic. Picked up at Sea View Angling, and it's a nice setup, to be honest. So the throttle reel, they weren't overly expensive, but the rod was a little bit. I like to have some nice stuff. So I've got a nice lure rod now, which I can go out and do this. As Ryan said, I'm going to get my little boy down doing this. He'll absolutely love it. It's a nice little picnic. You said you bring your daughter down here.
Yeah, I bring my daughter down here where we are. It's nice and flat. It's close
Safe
enough to the water,
Yeah.
but it's far enough away from, you know, anyone else. So you can have a nice quiet time and have a good father-daughter, father-son sort of time.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Nice way to introduce him to the sport as well. Let's go and get him one out. That was a shot. Looks like a better fish. He's playing like a champ. That's a pig, isn't it?
When you look in the hook position, with luring, they always catch them in the lips as opposed to going behind their teeth line. So when you go behind their teeth line, they're armoured, and trying to get them out is a nightmare. It stresses the fish right out. So that's perfect hooking, that is. So here we go then. Got a lovely Ballan Wrasse here. Absolutely gorgeous colours, gorgeous markings. The thing I love about these fish is everyone's different. They've all got their own personalities, their own markings, and yeah, this is why I do this sport, and this is why I absolutely love it. As you can see, it's a good size as well. It doesn't weigh that much, it's just about 3.5 pounds, but she's got a lot of girth and a lot of length on her. Cracking fun, cracking job, and on the light gear. This is why we've got to save our fish. Really have got to save these fish. All right, by saving these fish, we're going to be able to introduce children, you know, support tackle shops, support our waters, everything. They do so much for this whole absolute experience. Amazing. All we're going to do now is, after admiring its beauty, admiring how you know, a stunning fish this is, we're going to get it back in the water. Let's get it as quickly as possible back in this water.
Okay guys, what a fantastic session. I really much enjoyed that, mate.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It made me feel 10 years old again.
Yeah.
Absolutely mental. What do you think?
I thought it was brilliant.
You did?
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to do some more.
I think we've done probably 2.5 hours, I would say, and it's been a pleasure, to be fair. Really light gear, and we've had them up to £4 a day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Hard fighting, local knowledge obviously always pays off with what we've done today. What else would you say on the session?
Just emphasise fish care, look after these wrasse. They're so important. They are
See the passion that Ryan had with looking after, can you?
They're lovely.
At all times, even when we're
Lovely
moving around filming and taking the photos of the fish, all the time Ryan was there, obviously making sure the mat was underneath. If the fish fell and obviously kicked out your hands, it wasn't falling on jagged rocks. It was padded, and it was a pleasure, to be honest. I really much enjoyed it. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. What else would you say on the matter?
I just thought it was brilliant. I'm going to do it again.
Very much so. You were very interested in some of these little lures you were fishing, because I had never seen that before. We got like imitation of a crab there, and there's a few other bits and pieces.
I've learned how to do weedless lures.
And it's these little things that people miss, that they start lure fishing and they give up too soon because they haven't had that chance, or someone. I was very fortunate.
You need to be shown.
Yeah, I was exactly that. I was very fortunate. I spent 2 years of going into tackle shops, peering over people's shoulders, what are they buying? I'd buy it, I'd go away and I'd be like, well, this is rubbish, it doesn't work. And it wasn't the fact it didn't work, I didn't know how to set it up or use it. And it wasn't until I met someone that was equally as passionate about lure fishing, where they said, just try this. And then all of a sudden, I went from not catching to catching.
Well, you guys who's been asking me about all the lure fishing, you're very lucky, because obviously Ryan's come on board with the Sea Angling Adventures, covering the whole of the lure side. So at the end of the day, it's always nice to have an expert in a type of fishing which you guys want to see. And I've had loads of people asking me over the years about it, and it's something I'm not knowledgeable in. I'm going back to school here with this. I've learned so much today regarding, from Simon Thomas with a lot about the wrasse species, then on with Ryan, his general knowledge and passion for this type of fishing. And it's not just wrasse fishing you do, mate, bass fishing.
It's any style of lure fishing, any style of lure fishing. So if you have got any questions, please ask, and we'll see what we can do.
On the page and get hold of Ryan. But he will be doing some of his own videos, which will be uploading and sent in with general details of his trips and hints and tips, getting you guys amongst those wrasse and lures. So that's it probably for the day. I hope you enjoyed what we've done today, and Ryan and Seaview Angling and myself, we've got this petition what's going up trying to help save these wrasse, and it's a big factor. It's something which needs to be looked at. Big.
It does.
And as Andy brought up earlier on in the video, he's going to be bringing his young boy here because it is that much fun. It is that important. And for me, it's all about saving these fish for the next generation, and not just saving these fish, because you've got to remember, being the gardeners, these fish also, if we take these out, there's a possibility we'll lose other fish around the area, because without these,
it's introducing the next generation of anglers, which are our kids, and into the sport. And one thing which is hard, and as Ryan picked up earlier, is when with my own son, taking up bait fishing, that he got very bored very quickly because he was waiting. And with this type of fishing, you're constant. You cast, and you're always doing something. You haven't got to go to dodgy places, and that. It was pretty safe where we were today. As Ryan said, he's took his own children down there and that, and it's getting them hitting into fish, and they will be hitting into fish. It's a very easy way of fishing, and it's a very skillful way of fishing at the same time. I very much enjoyed my big wrasse on today. It's especially long light gear, it's cracking. But I actually took Cody, my youngster, into carp fishing to actually get him just to be able to see what a fish felt like. And then when I introduced him back into sea fishing, then his whole opinion, his whole where before he couldn't concentrate on the rod and he was running around and that, he knew what was coming. And that's what Wrasse does for the sea angling sport. Introduces the sport to the kids, which should be really thought about, and hopefully we can do something and get something put into line, because I agree with what the guys have been saying. It's not something I know a great deal about, to be fair, but it definitely needs a look upon, doesn't it?
Well, you've learned and I've learned.
Yeah, it's been a good day, mate. I very much enjoyed it. But we are covering a magazine article for Sea Angler, and you can read all about the trip in an up and coming months. But apart from that, like you welcome me on board, mate. You guys have got some very interesting stuff to come from this young man, because it's not just that, he does a lot of lure fishing from the boat. He's got his own boat and that as well. So, and he's also got your own website coming out. As well. What's that about then?
It's Lure Mayhem, made easy.
Yep.
The whole point is in its title. For those that do go lure fishing, for the first few weeks, the first year or so, I spent 2 years not being able to catch anything. It was complete mayhem. So for me, the reason I've set up Lure Mayhem Made Easy is simply so I can give you a few tips, give you a few ideas of how to find your own fish marks, find your own places, and then all of a sudden this Lure Mayhem actually becomes easy, hence the reason the title.
Getting you amongst the fish. So, future stuff to come, and apart from that, take care guys, tight lines.
Stay soon.